Hey everybody, it's GoblinX, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and Powered Cube is back on Arena. If you've never heard of Powered Cube before, it is our opportunity to draft from the strongest cards in Magic's history, instead of just from one specific set of cards like normal. It is a phantom draft. We don't keep anything we're drafting here. It's just for the fun of the event, but it is an incredibly fun event with some really, really cool decks you can build and a ton of variety and replayability to it. Yeah, very excited to get back into it. So without further ado, let's just get into our pack one, pick one. Again, these are the strongest cards in the history of the game, at least in terms of those that have been put on Arena. So there are always a ton of great directions you can go, especially pack one, pick one. There's usually a lot of good options. I'm a huge fan of Tinker. This is a really fun win condition. You sacrifice one of your cheap artifacts to tutor out the largest artifact from your deck, put it straight into play. There's a lot of good targets for this within the cube, like probably one of the weaker ones, but still quite a finisher is like Mirror Battlesphere. That's just the first one that comes to mind as a good example. It's this big like 4/7 mirror that comes with a bunch of tokens and they all just attack in and beam your opponent for a bajillion. So Tinker's a really sweet, really fun one to play around with. I'm a big fan of the artifact decks. I love playing a bunch of mana rocks and stuff. And mana rocks play well with the Tinker, and then you just play some amount of big top end finishers. That's a really fun win condition. Another very powerful win condition is the Reanimator strategy. Reanimate being the probably most efficient way to reanimate one of your big win conditions from your graveyard. In that kind of strategy, you're going to be drafting some ways to mill yourself or discard cards from your hand, or even entomb a card that can specifically search for exactly whatever card you want and put it into your graveyard. And then you're going to cheat it into play for only one. So Reanimate is another very high pick because it can get you into one of those kind of synergy-driven archetypes, very similarly to Tinker, where it's like you take the Tinker really highly and now you're like, okay, now I just need mana rocks and a big artifact and I'm good. Reanimate is like, boom, I've got my really efficient Reanimator spell. Now I just need some discard and some big targets. So I don't mind just taking the Reanimate here. I don't think there's a super clear option to just follow up the Tinker with here. We could take like a Preordain or a Flooded Strand. Flooded Strand being very, very flexible because of all the lands with basic land types in the cube, but I'm gonna go Reanimate here, keep it a little bit open. And it's certainly not impossible that we just end up running both of these in the same deck. We could just be a blue-black Reanimator deck with a good amount of mana rocks in it too. And then our big artifacts could be either reanimated or tinkered out. Pick number 3. All right, this is a bit of a miss from blue and black here. We could take Multiversal Passage as a kind of fixing card, but Cecil's really just an aggro card here. I think Gobin's perfectly fine in Reanimate. Being able to connive every time you hit your opponent with your unblockable threats, that is a way to shove your big targets into your graveyard. So we might just take Gobin here, go with our copy of Reanimate. I think I'm fine with that. Pick number 4 now. There's a Hymn to Torok. You don't really want to Hymn to Torok yourself, even if you are a Reanimator deck, because of the random discard out of this. This is much better targeted at your opponent, so I don't think I'm taking that to try to use with Reanimate. There's a Zagoth Triome, which is a blue-black dual land with basic land types, and it's fetchable off of a bunch of stuff because it's a full-on Triome, so that's a pretty good, pretty flexible land. There is Unearth, which is a very, a not very flexible reanimate spell. It only reanimates the little stuff, but it's a good early game value play when you have like 1 mana, 2 mana creatures with good abilities, you know, like a Gobin, or the blue-black 1/1 flying Death Touch Owl is a solid one to like unearth in blue-black. Lots of like creatures that draw a card when they enter and stuff in this color pair, so unearth wouldn't be terrible, but I think I'm just going to go for the Triome on this one. Pick number 5, there it is, the Baleful Strix. Baleful Strix looks pretty good to me here, but there's also a copy of Death, which is the same thing as Reanimate, but for 2 mana. And you have to do your graveyard only. If you're a dedicated Reanimator strategy, you are already really just trying to shove big creatures into your own graveyard. So the flexibility of reanimating something from your opponent's graveyard, it is good. It does give you extra flexibility, but it's not massively important. The biggest downside to Death over Reanimate is costing an additional mana, but it's still a really good reanimation card, so I'm going to take it over Baleful Strix. But I do like Baleful Strix, and I think it's a very good card to sack to your Tinker. because like when you have the Tinker in hand, it's the cheap artifact that hits the board and replaces itself when it hits the board. And when you don't have Tinker in hand, it's still going to trade off into some big attacking creature with its Death Touch. So I do think Baleful Strix is actually a very solid pick too, but I'm going to make sure I get multiple reanimation spells if we want to try to get that to work. You do need some redundancy. You need to get multiple ways to reanimate your stuff. Here's a Watery Grave, a counter spell here. Brain Freeze is a cool finisher, but it's kind of a combo finisher where you want a couple specific things to go with it. Either be a full-on Storm deck or get like the Underworld Breach that lets you replay everything from your grave. There is an infinite combo with it. Underworld Breach, Lion's Eye, Diamond, Brain Freeze. Not technically infinite, but it's guaranteed to mill your opponent out entirely. So that's a pretty cool card. Bloodstained Mire, also a great one that's going to pick up Zagoth Triumph at worst. Bloodstained Mire is probably a better pick than Watery Grave, actually. So Mire or Counterspell are my favorite cards here. World Spine Worm, worth noting, not a reanimator target. It shuffles itself back whenever it goes to your grave. It is a natural order target or a sneak attack target. Those are two other ways to cheat things into play. Natural order is like Tinker for green creatures. You sack a green creature, pull out any green creature from your deck, and then sneak attack just lets you put one of your creatures from your hand into play with haste and then sack in the end turn. World Spine Worm is a really, really good sneak attack target because you get that 15 trample haste, and then when it dies, you get all those worms. Take a Fairy Mastermind on this one. Could take the Phyrexian Revoker just for some random cheap artifact. Summon Bahamut is not a bad reanimator target. It does shoot us in the face for a lot of damage, but it is quite the finisher here. Urtai Resurrected is a solid piece of interaction in blue and black. Subtlety also fine. I think I'll go Urtai over Subtlety. There is a Leovold here. So Leovold has some combos in this cube. There are some Time Twister style spells. Those are spells that shuffle your entire hand into your deck, and then you draw 7, and each player does that. So if you do that when you have a Leovold on board, your opponent draws only 1 card, plus Leovold is fine value by himself. If they ever try to kill Leovold by targeting him with removal, you do draw a card, and that's the same with any of the other cards. So we might splash in Leovold here. We already have Zagoth Triome. So we'll speculate a bit on Leovold there and start grabbing some random green lands. And if we do get a couple Time Twistery effects, we might play Leovold, and especially if you get like Narset and stuff for other cards that have this same ability, preventing your opponent from drawing extra cards, then that could be another aspect of our deck. We did wheel the Unearth. If we wheel the Baleful Strix, I'll be super happy to play it, because then we'll have Goban, Fairy, and Baleful Strix and Leovold. Take the Talisman here. Was this the Baleful Strix pack? I think. Yeah, that's unfortunate. No Baleful Strix. Oh, I forgot to say my disclaimer. So at this point, I'm okay at Cube. I will say. I had a pretty great win rate the last time that the Cube came around. However, I'm still nowhere near as experienced as many of the other Cube YouTubers. I highly recommend checking out Paul Cheon, Numat the Nummy, LSV. These are players that have been playing Cube for decades. So they have really, really great tips and tricks for powered Cube, as opposed to here where you're just going to be watching kind of a regular limited player where 90% or more of what I play is just Premier Draft stuff. So coming to Cube with a bit of a different mindset than those very experienced players. So here's Fabled Passage, Memory Lapse. I don't know if I'm going to go super deep on a green, but if I do, some of these one-man accelerants could be good. I don't think so, though. I still feel like green's just going to be a little splash. I think I'm going to take Memory Lapse here. I like Dak Faden a lot. I do enjoy me a Dak Faden, because as somebody who loves artifacts, I do like stealing my opponent's moxes and stuff with that -2, but let's grab a Memory Lapse here. Pick 2, there's a Bitter Triumph is a really excellent removal spell for reanimator strategies because it's efficient removal that lets you discard your big reanimation target from your hand. There's also Necromancy for another reanimator spell, though, to have 3 different ways to reanimate things from grave. I think I'm going to take Necromancy here, and because there's Bitter Triumph and Malcolm and Troll of Khazad-dûm, we probably wheel something good for Reanimator because all three of these cards are great. Troll of Khazad-dûm is going to pick up a land from our deck and give us a perfectly fine reanimation target. Not an insta-kill or anything, but a 6/5 that's really hard to block. Malcolm is going to let us draw a card, discard a card every time we're attacking. And Bitter Triumph, of course, the best of these three cards, efficient removal plus a way to ditch our reanimation targets. But let's grab the Necromancy. Now we've got triple reanimation spell. Here's a Sundering Titan to tinker out. That doesn't look bad at all. There's also a Mere Battlesphere. Either of these looks pretty great to me. There's also Restless Cottage if we just want to take more ways to get green mana in here, or we could splash in Pest Infestation, which is pretty gnarly if your opponent has 2 or more artifacts on their board, then you really blow them out. But this is also just a million pest tokens, whatever you're spending on it. But I think it's one of the Tinker finishers. Sundering Titan's a little bit matchup dependent. Incredible in some matchups, and then others it's going to be like you're playing against aggro and you kill 1 or 2 of their lands. I mean, if you tinker it out, though, if you tinkered out turn 3, you could realistically blow up almost all of their lands most of the time. I'm going to go Titan over Battlesphere, but I could see Battlesphere being better, because Battlesphere is definitely better late game. Phantasmal Image is just a very good rate. I don't mind it. Force of Negation is a really good way to protect yourself, though. Any of these counter spells that you can cast for free sometimes can catch your opponent out unexpectedly and stop them from doing something incredibly explosive, because everybody's doing something incredibly explosive in almost every single game of Cube. I'll just stick with Phantasmal Image. Get that really cheap card. That's also a really good target for Unearth. You can unearth your 2-drop, but actually it's the biggest creature on board. It's much bigger than a 2-drop. There's a Time Spiral to go with Leovold. You can't play it till you have access to 6 mana, but once you do, it's technically like a 0 mana Time Twister. I don't hate that, but Prismatic Vista would also be good. Time Spiral will be my choice there, though. Here's Fatal Push for some pretty efficient removal, or there's an Overgrown Tomb. Nexus of Becoming is a fun artifact deck card and a fun tinker target, but this is one that only really works well in like a dedicated artifact deck. I mean, being a mixture of artifacts and Reanimator probably works fine for it too, because it does spit out an artifact or creature from your hand as a 3/3 golem. So any of our big creatures with good enter effects like Bahamut would be fine cards to Nexus out. Nexus out a 3/3 version of Bahamut, you still get all the abilities. You know what, I'll still take Nexus here. I think it'll be fine being half Reanimator, half artifacts. Here's Crabomination. This is another card that's a good way to fill the gap between an artifact deck and a Reanimator deck. It's a fine card to reanimate. It's a fine card to cast after playing a Mana Rock or 2, playing it a little bit early. It's also a fine card to emerge from one of your artifacts to play it cheaper. So we'll take that. But it does feel like there's a lot of competition for the artifact decks here. I take Talisman over Cannoneer or Steel Seraph. Just make sure I've got a few more artifacts now that we're doing some Nexus-y stuff too, and we really need enough cards for Tinker. Pick 9, nothing much here. We'll take the green Fixing. I believe this is black mana no matter what. Ooh, the fact that it's green at base level is a little bit rough. We would prefer this to be black no matter what, and then also could make green if we have a swamp or forest. It's not the perfect splash land, but still definitely helpful. If we play Leovold, which is still not guaranteed. We only have one Time Twister effect. We did wheel the Malcolm, so that'll be another way to discard our top end reanimating spells, reanimation targets. There's a Mere Battlesphere we could reanimate, or we could tinker it, so I think that's good enough to take over Cottage for being a dual purpose top end card. But it is worth noting we are splashing green. Tamiyo's a pretty good card for these decks too. Tamiyo's kind of +1 ability is pretty great. I don't know if I'll be splashing enough green to Once Upon a Time or Terra Sunder. I'm just going to speculate on the green Fixing, and then like there's a chance we just cut all these green lands. And that's fine. Nobody on Storm. Sad day for Tendrils of Agni. Final pack, what do we have? We did not open up any Power 9 today. Trinket Mage, but we don't have any Moxes for it, sadly, so that's not going to do much. Emperor of Bones is an okay way to just get a one haste swing out of some reanimation target. Cryptic Command is good interaction, but really hard to cast at triple blue. Library of Alexandria is a very powerful card. Works best in the kind of decks that are playing like one card per turn. Like a control deck that just has a bunch of 1-for-1 removal is going to go crazy with Library of Alexandria. 1-for-1 removal, 1-for-1 counter spells, and some board wipes and stuff. Reanimator decks and combo decks aren't the greatest spot for Library. Because the turn that you do, you're like, play a mana rock, play another spell, play a mana rock, play a tinker, anything like that, you're not going to have 7 cards in hand anymore. But I'm still unrealistically happy to play Library of Alexandria and everything. Library of Alexandria might be my my most played card, my most drafted card in the cube. Anytime it shows up, I draft it. I just don't really care what I'm playing, even though I should. This doesn't seem like the best Library of Alexandria pile, but too bad. I like drawing cards, and I'm going to do it. So pack 3, pick 2, something new to this version of the cube. They did add Oracle of the Alpha. This is the only alchemy card in the entire cube. The rest of the cube is true to paper magic, but they did give us the Oracle of the Alpha Power 9 Spice. So that'd be a way to get some Power 9 into the deck, but I think just great interaction like Force of Will is a more consistent option here. Liliana the Veil is fine in Reanimator. Make each player discard a card. You just discard one of your big creatures while your opponent discards something that might be more important to their plan. I like that.
A fight? And you think you can win?
I still need some more artifacts to tinker away, so I might have to take really filler ones like Urza's Bauble at this point. Sure. Bauble. Not take an expedition map. Here's Grave Titan. Collective Brutality is okay. That's another way to discard your big Reanimator cards. Its abilities aren't the best, but if you really want to escalate it, then it can be fine. Sure, I'll go Brutality actually here. We might be able to wheel the Grave Titan, honestly. I remember Grave Titan going really late very often last cube season. Overlord's fine at filling that grave a whole ton. Duelist of the Mind can get us strong in discarding. These are both okay cards, okay options. Deathrite Shaman, but we're only running like one fetch, so I don't think Deathrite's going to be super good in here. I'll go Overlord of the Balemerc on this one. Pick number 7, Unburial Rites with no white mana. Portal to Phyrex is a fine tinker target if you're behind. You portal, try to wipe their board off of your tinker. I enjoy that. Entomb, perfect. That is the way to put whatever you want to reanimate into your grave. I think our deck's consistent enough as just blue-black Reanimator now. We can just drop the whole Leovold package and just go pure blue-black here. Probably need some removal. I still need more cards to tinker away. I'll actually take Planisphere. We're going to be low interaction here. Not a lot of removal, not a lot of counter spells, and that is going to be the biggest flaw of this deck, is that when our opponents have explosive hands, we're just going to watch them kill us. We're not going to really stop them. But we do have the tools to have our own explosive hands here. We've got like a Memory Lapse, a Collective Brutality, a Liliana make them sack a creature, an Urtai to destroy a creature, and a Force of Will. I mean, there's not zero interaction in here, but it's certainly low on it. We do have the Portal to Phyrexia to blow up 3 of their creatures as well. Here's a blue-black duel, which looks pretty important at this point. Elegy's just like a fine mid-range card, but it's not really what we're doing. Nothing here. Just hate drafting an Endurance just in case we play against anybody from our pod. Now they can't Endurance my grave away to stop me from reanimating. I'll take Expedition Map, technically a Tinker card, but I'm not going to use it. I'm not that desperate. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cheap artifacts to sack to tinker. Not quite as many as I feel like you want, but close enough. We just have to cross our fingers and believe in the heart of the cards. We'll be fine. I mean, I could run Expedition Map just because we do want more Tinker targets, and then, like, worst case scenario, we can grab a library with it, but by the time I'm cracking Expedition Map, I highly doubt I have 7 cards in hand for the library. I guess it is possible there'll be a slow start game where I'm on the play. I just go Expedition Map and pass. They don't have an early play. Turn 2, pass. They play a good 2-mana aggressive creature. I crack Expedition Map, grab Library of Alexandria, untap, play Library, draw a card, play a 2-drop. It could be okay in the opener. It could be okay in the opener. And it's a Tinker card, so we'll put it in there. So what are we doing? Not playing Jace. That is astronomically hard to cast. 4 targets for Unearth, probably not good. Drop that. We're really cheating everything out with our cheaper spells. I think I can cut a land here. Why is there a forest? For life? Okay, I'm gonna cut a forest now on 16 lands. 2 more cuts to go. I mean, maybe Overlord just isn't even that good in here, because we're not that high of a creature count. It fills our grave well, but we have Gobin. Let's see, we have Gobin, Malcolm, Entomb, Collective Brutality, and Liliana to discard. We could also discard the hand size with Library of Alexandria. That is one added benefit Library of Alexandria does get in Reanimator strategies. You want to be discarding sometimes. So if you do play it turn 1 on the draw, like, they pass to you, you're on the draw, so you draw your 8th card in hand, play Library as your 7th, draw a card immediately, you're back to 8 in hand, discard your reanimation target. Turn 2, swamp, reanimate it. So in your opening hand, Library is another way to help Reanimator. I think this could be enough without Overlord. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 targets for Overlord off of the mill. Mill's 4, that's 1 out of every 4 card. It's not completely unreasonable. I still kind of like it. Maybe I should cut Portal to Phyrexia and Nexus of Becoming. That way all of my finishers can be reanimated or tinkered instead of only one. Like, these 2 can only be tinkered. Portal to Phyrexia is a tremendously bad draw any game that we don't have Tinker. Nexus of Becoming's a little better, being only 6 mana. Should probably drop Portal. I do really like the ability to pull that out in a pinch when you have a Tinker. Turning a Tinker into sort of a one-sided board wipe is always good, but you have to think about the fact that we have 1 copy of Tinker. So it's like, whenever we draw Tinker first and our opponent's ahead on board, then Portal to Phyrexia is pretty good, but there's going to be a lot of times that we draw Tinker first and we would instead grab a Sundering Titan to blow up their lands if it's a good spot for that, or a Battle Sphere if we're not behind to just do a bunch of damage. So it's only going to get pulled out part of the time when we draw Tinker first, and then any time that the coin flip goes in the other direction and we draw Portal to Phyrexia first, it's just terrible. Trying to get all the way to 9 mana in a deck with just 2 pieces of ramp and only 16 lands. Yeah, I don't think we can afford to run Portal to Phyrexia, as solid as it is in that exact position when you have Tinker in their head. That's probably narrow enough to drop that. I guess Fairy Mastermind doesn't exactly do anything with our synergy. It's just a decent rate. Phantasmal Image doesn't either, but we can Phantasmal Image one of our big reanimation spells. Reanimator targets, I should say. Yeah, I'm going to drop Fairy over Nexus. Call it a deck here. Double check the mana base though. 9 black and 8 blue. We're on a 6/6 with 3 of either, so 9/9. Yeah, 8/9's really close. That's good with me. Call it a deck here. Hop in the gameplay. See how far we take things on our very first draft of the return trip to the Powered Cube. No blue mana here is a big bummer on this hand. Really are trying to turn to Goblin to ditch that and Necromancy it. Keep and pray for an island. I don't think we can do that, Cube. You can fall behind so fast. Okay, this is a better hand. We need to draw into a big creature to discard to Malcolm, ideally, for our reanimate. But Malcolm having flash means our turn 2 is great. If they do something scary, we have memory lapse, and if they don't, we just run out the Malcolm and start drawing discarding. Well, now they certainly won't run into the memory lapse here. But it can still be a good tempo swing. They can't really get around it entirely in the average hand. They'll just play like a weaker turn 2 play than they would have otherwise, but if it costs 2 mana, we still slow them down. They start with turn 1 Soul Ring. That is a great start. It's one of the strongest cards in the cube. Just shove it into literally any deck, and you just skip ahead really fast. 4 mana on turn 2. Pretty brutal. And we can't even stop this if they have another forest in their hand. They just go forest and play it again off of the... Well, I mean, this puts it on top. We can't stop it. But they can still play another 2-drop this turn off that Soul Ring. Strip Mine. Good lord. If we didn't have Memory Lapse, this game would be 100% over no matter what. Because they would have gone Strip Mine Badgermole Cub to Earthbend the Strip Mine. Then they can sack the Strip Mine, kill one of our lands. It comes right back, and then sack it, kill another land. So this was still a pretty awful start. They had a Strip Mine against our 2 land opener. But it could have been much worse without that Memory Lapse. I mean, they had a Strip Mine against our 2 land opener, and they had Soul Ring to start off. So we are under a bajillion bits of pressure. I'm surprised and happy to see the 6 attack here. Never mind. 6 milled into the 1 rings, and I can just play that. But the reason I'm surprised is they know we have a Malcolm in hand. So they know that if they don't block the Malcolm, we get to draw and discard a card and maybe get a reanimate target in our grave. Oh, they're not going to play the 1 ring? Do they have swords or Path to Exile or something here? Or did they just forget about Malcolm? Fingers crossed they forgot about Malcolm, because that's kind of our only shot. Oh, I do need to draw Black Source because they killed our only Black Source, but we're drawing and discarding. Malcolm gives us a chance. And they easily could have stopped us from having this chance by just holding 6 back. God dang it. No punishment. No punishment for our opponent. Fair enough. Yeah, if we drew a Black Source, we would have got them pretty good here. It's still probably a losing position, right? Because they still have Sunbillow Verge, because that doesn't have basic land types. They'd still have a Sunbillow Verge and multiple creatures. They couldn't attack through a 7/10. But it would obviously be a way better spot. Mill a Pyrogoyf with the 6 here, so they can just play that and kill Malcolm. There's exploration for more mana. More lands per turn. And it's all blue. Moving on at this point. We're not breaking through one ring levels of value now. Alright. 0-1 heading into game 2. Pretty brutal start, but that's just classic Powered Cube stuff. Turn 1 Soul Ring, turn 2 Strip Mine. So we're behind a mana and they are way ahead on mana off of the double acceleration. That would get us pretty bad even with a really good hand, and that was not a very good hand. We had to mull towards it, so the Strip Mine and the 1 black source just completely cut us off that mana for essentially the whole game. We couldn't even Malcolm hit them there on that final turn to try to get the black source one more time, so I'd still stuck on triple blue for another turn there. I'm just over that one. All right, well, we can Brutality this Battlesphere into our grave, but we don't have one of our reanimation spells in this hand. I'm still going to keep it. We'll put 2 really good targets into the grave, I guess. Entomb turn 1, Brutality turn 2. We've got the Talisman for the Tinker. If we draw into that. Keep. Hopefully they're like a green deck that has a Llanowar Elves or something for us to Brutality. Perfect, basically Llanowar Elves. So we can get the double value off Brutality. Kill their 2/2 and make them discard an instant or sorcery if they have one. If they don't, we still want to discard a card anyway. So it's not even a particularly big miss. Only hitting instants or sorceries, though, means we're not going to stop Formidable Speaker. Whatever. Great creature this is about to grab. Woodfall Primus. Are they going to natural order that? No, they'd have to do it from their deck for natural order. Green-blue. Maybe they're going to go like Mountain Sneak Attack or something. What am I entombing? Probably Bahamut, right? I think it's Bahamut. Expedition map is the draw. It's not going to be good here. Brutality. Kill halfling. Look at their hand. Mystical Tutor, Eternal Witness, Primus. Okay. Primus is kind of stranded in that hand now. Without whatever they're going to tutor. Actually starting to look like a really bad Formidable Speaker pickup. Because it's just not going to do anything for a Sentry. Speaking of not doing anything for a Sentry, do that next turn. Skip your next draw step and then do it. I guess they could Malcolm discard Primus here. Yeah, the Malcolm draw and discard means they don't fully skip their next draw step, but we get rid of one of their draws at some point. Oh, they just ditch Witness still? They're going to try to get to 4 chorus counters? I guess. Gobin is decent here. What is Fleam? Each non-land card in your graveyard has Mayhem. Mayhem equal to the mana cost. You may cast this from your graveyard for its Mayhem cost if you discarded it this turn. But Fleam doesn't give me a way to discard them anyway. No, we just play Gobin. Oh, I guess the idea is we could flip Gobin into Fleam and cast something from the grave in the same turn. At some point. Off that 4-mana ability. Okay. I guess it might as well thin a land out. This is certainly not a Library of Alexandria game, though. So let's grab Adawara. We could just use that on Malcolm whenever Malcolm's close to 4 chorus counters. Liliana's not terrible here, but I really need Gobin to find one of our reanimation spells quickly, or we're not going to have enough life to cast them unless we specifically hit. Unless we specifically hit Necromancy, that's the one we don't have to pay life for. No, we milled Reanimate. I've got 5 mana right now. Yeah, we pick up Urtai. Just gotta play blue-black mid-range control right now. But apparently it's good enough. The Urtai is going to flip the board in our favor. If all they have in hand is just big stuff like Primus, then it's like, okay, now we just Urtai kill Malcolm and just start jamming and drawing a card every turn. And they can't break through. All right, weird game, but okay. 1-1 it is, heading into game number 3. It's a very good hand if we draw a Tinker or a reanimation spell. So there's a lot of explosive draws. Collective Brutality to discard that Sunring Titan too. Beautiful. Grab the untapped black source here for Entomb. See one of their random cards. Mind Twist. Okay. Another Talisman is not it. Just Collective Brutality, the Mind Twist. Next turn, instead of playing a Talisman. And I guess this hand doesn't really get Mind Twisted that badly. Because everything else in this hand is like, it just needs to top deck something. So nothing in the hand is particularly relevant. It's the top decks that are relevant. Just Entomb now and make sure we don't top deck some random big reanimation card, like Bahamut. Choose Bahamut because we can't tinker it if we draw a Tinker. I could Collective Brutality their Mind Twist, or I could just save the Memory Lapse to play on them next turn. Just hold on to Memory Lapse for now. They're blue, black, and white. They do have a blue-green land as well. It feels unlikely they're going to play a cheap enough creature to -2/-2, but if we can get into a position where we get to get rid of the Mind Twist and get rid of a creature, that would be absolutely beautiful. You know, just Memory Lapse a Grim Monolith, that's fine. Liliana of the Veil. It's a really good one once we get her out, but we have a tap land right now, so not yet. Let's play the Brutality. I mean, Sunring Titan's 8 mana. If I don't discard Sunring Titan, I've already got a reanimation targeted grave. I'm at 5 out of 8. It might not be crazy to just not discard Sunring Titan here. Next turn I could play double Talisman. The drain them for 2 doesn't really do anything at all. Oh no. Well, these are all bad. These are all bad, but I think Mind Twist is the worst for me right now, since I'm holding Sunring Titan and trying to just ramp. They have an Entomb, But they don't have a reanimation spell either. And even if I hit Entomb, if they draw into reanimation spell, they still get to play a Troll of Khazad-dûm. Now, whatever they Entomb is going to be much better than a Troll of Khazad-dûm. It'll probably be like an Atraxa or something, but they'll still get value out of a reanimation spell. And they do choose to discard the Entomb. Wasteland on Triome. Ay, ay, ay. My first draft back in the cube is just going to be getting strip mined and wastelanded. Ayo, we're actually so fine. That is 2-1 heading into game number 4. Ooh, a Tinker Hand. But there's no black source for the Overlord and there are no artifacts to sack to it? No. A Tinker Hand that I feel might have to be a mulligan. How many relevant draws are there? There are 9 black sources that we can draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cheap artifacts. There's 14 really good draws. It's like 50-50 each draw step. I guess a little bit less than 50-50. I can wait a few turns. So I get like 3 coin flips that are slightly weighted against me. And if I win one of those 3, we're going ham. If it takes longer than the first 3 draws, we're probably going to die against pretty much anything in cube. And it looks like they're aggro, so we're really going to die if we missed our first 3 draw steps. We did miss the first one, just hitting a Force of Will here. So I can't force away my Tinker just to kill a cheap creature. And I could if I'm super desperate. Like next turn against like a really good 3-drop. The plot twist? Grim Lavamancer into Inti. Mono red aggro cards. Into Psychic Frog off the top? 5-color aggro? Draw the right colors every time? Dot deck? Alright. It is working. They might just have like 17 non-basics in there to make it work. That Territorial Kavu, like domain aggro. A 2-mana creature with power toughness equals the number of basic land types among their board. This is a match where I wish I had kept a Portal to Phyrexia in here, because this is an example of a situation where we would love to grab a Portal to Phyrexia. Sundering Titan will be perfectly fine here. Never mind. Ooh! It will be perfectly fine. If they didn't crack Arid Mace, they'd be worse. Just kill one of their lands, and that's it. Don't you dare blow up Talisman. I saw them looking at it. I still can't Force Will because I've only got Tinker in hand. If I Force Will, I lose the Tinker anyway. Don't blow up Talisman to commit Conviction. Okay, Preacher of the Schism, sure. They didn't blow up the Talisman. We're good. And we drew the black source. Okay. So. Blue, blue. 1. Tinker. That Preacher of the Schism is going to be a problem. I could Nexus of Becoming here and put the Mere Battlesphere out instead of blowing up their lands to play a bajillion blockers and make sure they really can't hit me. But I'm really tempted to blow up two of their lands. I mean, they still have 2 mana no matter what, one of which is a mana of... Oh, red specifically. They would only have red-white if I blow up lands here, but... I do really feel the need for blockers. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go blockers mode. If I'm going blockers mode, I might not Impending the Overlord, because I could play it as a 3/3 next turn. No, I think I'm still going to do it. Draw the card right now. Oh. Play a 3/3 Bahamut. I still gotta go Battlesphere first, I think. But that is another option. And now I actually do have Force of Will up. I could just exile on her tie. I do really just need to not die in the near future. Force Will can stop that, because 4/1/1s is kind of not great. I can lose a bit of card advantage. Nexus is drawing me a card every single turn, so as long as I just don't die in the near future, we're good. Death Touch Trample. No, no Death Touch Trample. We'll see if they drew a land to go with that Lelia. That would be rough. I can only kill one of the two. Take a chunk of damage from the other one. They are both drawing a card every turn. I guess I get to kill Preacher off of Bahamut anyway. I've got a death in my hand. I want to preserve my life total. Pretty major costs. I actually have to block with all of these, or otherwise Grim Lavamancer shoots at 1/1 and we don't kill NT. You know, in that case, I think I keep a 1/1. Down to 3 of them. Lavamancer puts me down to 2 of them. Necromancy's the draw, but I need to mill myself for that to do anything. Stop them from drawing cards. They have 6 cards in grave, though, so Lavamancer is 6 damage to my face. Kill Lavamancer now, chump Preacher, and kill it next turn. Goes on the mirror instead of the face. Happy with that. Top deck Comet, one of the strongest planeswalkers ever printed, is the dice rolling planeswalker. No shot, natural 6. Now they double activate. Oh my god, and then they kill Bahamut. Oh my god. What a way to lose. And then they reanimate the Lavamancer at worst, or the Inti. Reanimate the Inti Death Touch tramples with Preacher. Oh my god, man. Oh, they pick up Tribal Flames to shoot my face. Well, that was egregious. This game was going so well a millisecond ago. Oh, Necromancy does reanimate something from either graveyard. I should have played this last turn. From a graveyard. I guess I'm just getting an Inti, though. But I need blocks bad. I shouldn't have played it last turn. I lied. I'm a liar. One Sundry Boy kills 2 lands and completely shuts off Tribal Flames right now. Or Crabomination flips a coin. If Crabomination hits their Tribal Flames, it's a 50-50. If Crabomination hits their Tribal Flames, I kill Comet. Should maybe death it, but I don't think that's realistic at 3 life after playing a death. Oh, it hit the Tribal Flames. It hit the Tribal Flames. Let's go. They're playing off the top again. Play a Marsh Flats. Entomb was such a beautiful draw there. The anti-comet tech, just Crabomination their Tribal Flames. Here is a game where the fact that this is death instead of reanimate is actually a big downside. Because I can't really afford to bring back a 6 mana value card and go to 3, but I could bring back a 2 or a 3 drop here from their grave and be perfectly happy. Hello, friend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 8 mana, but I do need blockers basically right now. Yeah, we put that out. Plains, Island, Swamp. Anybody in our grave give us life back? Though I'm not going to go to 3 against red. I just do not want to get bolted or helixed or... They're playing all of the colors, but primarily red. There's a lot of bolt style spells that'll just one-shot me. I mean, Tribal Flames. Later. I'm going to start holding on to lands. I think I've basically drawn all of my really expensive stuff, but I haven't drawn a ton of my draw and discard, so being able to discard lands to draw their stuff could be good. Okay. That was a terrifying game. Luckily, they gave up in the end to Nexus of Becoming drawing us extra cards every turn, and them having much less mana now. That is 3-1. We did it. At least a 50-50 record on our return trip to the Powered Cube. We'll see if we can't start immediately with a positive win rate and just get some great runs this time around. That'd be pretty sick. Last time around was pretty great. Almost every draft was a positive win rate. It was mostly around 6-3s, something like that, if I remember right. We'll see if we can't get a repeat of that as we head into game number 5. Ooh. We did it! It's a turn 3 Tinker on the play hand. Let me play my Triumph, friend. Let me play the Crystally Swamp. All right. They start with a mountain. The scariest land. Drop a Talisman of Conviction. You'd think swamps are the scariest lands. No. I fear a mountain. Magda turn 2. Not the fastest start in the universe, but fast enough. Boop, buddy, boop. Talisman. Shoop diddy whoop. Tinker. Sundering Titan. They're mounted in plains and have a 7/10 against 1 Magda. Or Battlesphere for 1,000,000 That's Sunder. Plains. Mountain. I do hit myself here. Oh. This was not a great Sundering Titan start. But Talisman makes it fine. I can then Phantasmal Image next turn still. It's not up to. You do have to destroy one of each type, which I knew that going in, but I kind of forgot Triome being a forest would mean that I had to blow up 3 of my own lands and just one of theirs, which is objectively hilarious. I'm so tempted to immediately Phantasmal Image the Sundering Titan because it's absolutely hilarious, but I'll get Goben rolling first. If I wait a turn, I might be able to blow up 2 more of their lands at the cost of just 1 of mine. Oliphant, get a plateau. Get a red-white land. I mean, it's just the best. You can get a non-basic off of mountain cycling, so you should get a red-white dual land. And play it. Ooh, Volcanic Island, even better. Now I can wait till you have red, white, and blue. I can destroy America with Sundering Titan. Oh, yes. A mountain and a plains. They might Path to Exile or oust Sundering Titan, and then I don't get the Phantasmal Sundering Titan. But I think if they don't, I would like to play it greedy here. Yeah, if they just have Lightning Helix, I'm going to play it greedy and wait till they play that Volcanic next turn. If I play exclusively Islands, then I will not have to sack more lands to Sundering Titan. It is when Sundering Titan leaves the battlefield for any reason. So even if they Swords or Path to Exile Sundering Titan, it'll blow up their mountain and plains. Yes! We're the criminals! Legend of Karuk. Scry 2, draw a card. As annoyed as I was getting strip mined and wastelanded, we are being so much more evil right now. Now I know how my strip mine opponent felt. It feels good being the devil. I actually should have played that Bloodstained Mire a while ago and just not cracked it until after Sundering Titan hit the board. Bahamut. Well, they've got 1 blocker. If they play a removal spell, they'll be okay. I guess I still shouldn't have cracked Bloodstained Mire because Sundering Titans have leave the battlefield triggers too. There's been a lot of little misplays today. I'm just noticing them this game. Yeah, there's no reason to crack the Bloodstained Mire till the turn that we need the Black Source. Which is not till the turn I'm casting Liliana. It's not like Evolving Wilds or Terramorphic Expanse. I think I'm bad at playing with fetch lands because I'm so used to Premier Draft of regular sets, regular booster packs. I'm so used to Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse that I always, like, instinctually I'm just cracking fetches immediately. But if you're not grabbing a tap land off the fetch, like a Triome or a Shock land or a Surveil land, then literally just don't crack it until you're using the mana immediately. Especially with a Sundering Titan on board. Alright, doesn't matter. We got 2 7/10s on the board against an opponent who we blew up 5 of their lands. So that is 4-1. Guaranteed a positive record out of this draft wherever things go from here. And here's another turn 3 Titan. Or not turn 3 Titan, turn 3 Tinker. Titan's in the hand, so we have to... I mean, I guess it could be turn 3 Titan. Because we could grab the Nexus of Becoming. If we top deck the Nexus, that's going to be brutal. Because that is the only Tinker target left in our deck. We drew the other two. So we really need to not draw Nexus of Becoming. Ooh, Library of Alexandria towards Reanimate is kind of nice. Discard to hand size. I'll go Sundering Titan first. Fast Bond. That is terrifying. They get to play every single land in their hand right now. If they have like Crucible Strip Mine, we're dead. Because then they could just keep replaying Strip Mine and Crucible and playing more lands each turn because of Fast Bond. And there's a lot of things they could have where Fast Bond would mean we're just dead. There's a Memory Lapse, but I think I need to play Talisman so that I am setting up the Tinker. Next turn, we draw for turn, activate Library, play a land, play a Tinker. Okay, Bowmasters is gross against Library, so we might just stop using it. Teferi, so we can't do anything during their turn. If they have a Time Twister or something, that is G'st of G's. Oh, Teferi to bounce the Talisman is also brutal. Yeah, no, that probably gets us. Because we can't Memory Lapse them now. Teferi completely stops counter spells. We're not going to be able to Tinker. This is very, very bad. Oh, they just put another card in hand, so I'd play a land first and then use Library. Take my damage. Oh god. Remand 2. Well, Bahamut if we draw Reanimator spell.
Here we go.
Okay. Could Reanimate on Sundering Titan and then Tinker it away? Is that going too deep? Is that like the play of a madman? I take 8 damage to do it. Oh. It's better than taking 9 to do Bahamut, I guess. I'm gonna do it. It's the play of a madman, but I'm gonna do it. Island, plains, forest, swamp. I'm gonna lose my own lands here on the Tinker. But, you know how it is. Yeah, we have to choose a swamp. Yeah. Nexus, draw. Battlesphere. Here's Uro. I'm getting shot to 2 next time this Nexus triggers.
This might be a bad idea.
I don't have blue mana untapped. To play a tapped Zagoth Triome. Unless I draw an island. What happens if I Nexus a Phantasmal Image? I don't even know. Honestly. Grab on and all. Boop, 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 boom. Land, fractured reality. Oh, but I can't play them because it's not sorcery speed. Teferi blanks so much stuff, it's absurd. Oh my god, Teferi blanks Carbomination. So I guess I was supposed to Phantasmal Image and just see what happens. Yeah, just Phantasmal the Battlesphere, I guess. Oh, gross. Got one more turn to try to do something. Two blockers, 5 attackers. I could kill Teferi, but then I die. So no attacks. It's a one life and a dream kind of game. Phantasmal Image of Golos. We're gonna sack Teferi to put the Nexus back. I don't actually hate that. Because we don't have anything to cheat out with it this turn anyway, at this point. And Bowmaster's gonna demolish my soul. Oh, I should have... Oh, I didn't have blue mana. I should have Phantasmal Imaged off of Nexus to Bowmasters their Bowmasters. What was I doing with my life? I can do that now. They need red mana before Golos does anything. We got a shot here. Phantasmal Imaging Bowmasters. I mean, I could hit Crabomination now that the fairy's gone, but I just have to hit Bowmasters. Okay, they could play an Uro. No, they don't have the second blue. So they need to hit another blue source or a red source. Otherwise, they're almost playing off the top, and we are very close to playing Nexus again. We're 1 mana away. Off of any land, they specifically need a blue or red. There's the island for Uro. Uro is the less bad for us option between Uro and Golos, at least. Because we've got blocks everywhere, but Golos casting a bunch of spells for free could do something absolutely horrifying. If I hit a land... Okay. Never mind. So we are just going to hold up Urtai. Yeah, I'm pretty fine with that. Because I was going to say, if I hit a land, do I just hold up Urtai Memory Lapse anyway? To play it safe instead of just playing Nexus, since there's nothing great to cheat right now? Now our opponent just exiles the Mana Rock, so it's like, alright, well, I guess I will just hold up Urtai Memory. One of the two. Psychic Frog. That is a flying threat. So we have to Urtai it. Unless they have a counter spell. And then we are destroyed. Okay, now would be holding up Memory Lapse or playing Nexus. I think I go Nexus. It'll be a long time before I can hold up Memory Lapse and play Nexus at the same time. Big Gobin. There's my win condition. Unblockable 3/3 Conniver. Here's their turn to do something with their shields down. Still no red for Golos. Six mana. Scary. Oh, this is a board wipe. Basically, Pest Infestation is nutty. Yeah, it's a million 1/1s too, so I just go wide. I mean, we can't beat that. We could have memory lapsed it for one turn and then died the turn after this. Yeah. 7 blockers against 8 attackers. Technically, I don't die. What do I have for Expedition Map? Otawara? Expedition Map Otawara with a legend on board. I will be able to activate it, so we just play Expedition Map, crack it for Otawara, and activate it next turn on Uro when they attack all. Ah. So my options are to let this resolve and then go to 1. Or let this resolve and then make good blocks bouncing Uro. Or lapse it. And go to 1 making bad blocks. I mean, I really don't think I could do anything if I don't lapse it. We gotta go to 1 here. I mean, the Uro attack gives another Bowmaster's ping. We're actually not even going... We're not taking any damage, because Bowmaster's ping's one of the 1/1s. Okay. We grab Otawara. And just draw land. Can't bounce the Bowmasters. Could bounce the Urtai for 3. And then Urtai the Atraxa, which makes them draw another card which triggers Bowmasters. Counter it and kill a pest. It's an Entomb. None of our cards have flashbacks, so we're just sitting on that. Yeah, we already have the big stuff in the grave. Plus, like, all my reanimation spells would make me go to 0, essentially. I don't think I have enough cards left to even end up with 7 in hand for Library later, so I'm just going to keep playing mana for hard casting big cards. Oh, they're just turning it into a 2/2? Okay. That makes sense. Land off the top. They upgrade another card into a 2/2. Planisphere off the top. So now we're trying to upgrade a bunch of cards to 2/2s as well. Or better. So that's a 2/2 because we have an Entomb at worst. Alright, well, they got us. They drew Mystic Confluence before we drew anything super relevant there. These final couple turns. Yeah, that's well over lethal. I'm surprised they go double bounce draw. They could just do triple bounce and super lethal on board. Search their entire library for the best 2 cards, put them to hand. Oh, it's unkicked, the best 1 card. Alright, we didn't get there in the end, but I will say, I think the ending turns of that game, we found some really good lines and lasted a lot longer than I thought we would, so still happy with the ending there. Oh, and then everything else was completely irrelevant. They have a one-sided board wipe. Okay. 4-2, heading into game 7. Settle the wreckage. No. Here we are for game number 7. It's a library hand on the draw. I can't resist library hands on the draw. No blue source, but we're drawing an extra card every single turn to look for it. Saz's Chocobo. There's a Tinker. This deck enjoys discarding to hand size, so just activate it right now. Oops from opponent. Nice. They top deck their own library, which is very funny. I think I should collective brutality them here. Overusing library this turn. It's my last chance to brutality Chocobo. If I discard a card here to also try to get something out of their hand, then I'll be far away from this Library of Alexandria, so I don't actually want to do that. We'll let them keep the hand. I just want to stop Chocobo while it's still small enough. So if we find an artifact, we got the Tinker now. Yeah, we're kind of drawing all of the Tinker finishers. Let's go Gobin. Because Overlord doesn't dig for our artifacts. Gets creatures and planeswalkers. Alright, so they get to library here. Ren and 6. Ren and 6 is a really good card. You hate to lose Tinker, but I think it's worth it. Planisphere is good stuff. There's Entomb. We are golden whenever we draw a spell to reanimate. I could put the Planisphere on Gobin there. I like spreading out my threats, though. Right now we're just trying to get the 5th mana for Overlord. Just start hard casting good stuff. Is that a dashed Ragavan? No, it's undashed. Okay. 5th land. Love to see it. Love to see it. Got a good enough graveyard to ditch Entomb here, but Expedition Map's really not good. Guarantees I hit the 6th mana, but still be having a good enough time getting there. Ooh, Phantasmal Image. The Overlords are not legendary. There's the Chain Lightning on the Gobin. And then Sage of the Skies. Double Sage is pretty good. I feel like Phantasmal Imaging Overlord in draft can get us to milling ourselves way too much, way too fast. So I kind of want to save it for Abomination. We don't draw land, we emerge Abomination, discarding Planisphere. It's a little sad, but it's worth it. Yeah, everything in their graveyard is a good card for Abomination here. But particularly Chain Lightning. Earthbender Ascension, Chocobo, Hellrider. Earthbender Ascension, probably. Not the greatest hit there. Liliana or a big dork. We have 6 out of 7 mana. I might just start hard casting our reanimation targets to pick up a battle sphere here. I think I will. Go to 12. 14 cards left. I can't attack with this Overlord too many more times. We didn't mill any reanimation spells, so we still have Reanimate and Death and Necromancy in our deck, and there's good old Comet, everybody's favorite. Reanimate's a Renin 6 or a Chain Lightning. They can't cast Renin 6 right now, but they could Chain Lightning or 1/1 or 2/2. I guess Chain Lightning's not even that good. It kills Abomination if they attack with Ragavan. And we block, I guess. But I could just block with the 1/1. So yeah, they're just going to save Chain Lightning for later, gain a couple life with the Sage. There we go. There's a Necromancy, which we can do on Sundering Titan. Or that's it. They have Forest, Mountain, Plains. We do have Island and Swamp, so we're going to blow up some of our own cards to this. What if I Phantasmal Image Abomination first and see what happens? Kind of want to do that. We could alternatively just play Urtai. We do still have the 4 mana, so we can just Urtai the Comet away to make sure we don't have to worry about that. This is a guaranteed Renin 6 from Grave. Unless they play an instant here. In which case, then it's a 50-50 on Renin 6. Oh, what is this? I'm in full control, so make sure I can tap my Swamp for mana if they're killing it. Goes back tapped, right? Helix Face. Alright, full aggro stuff. Sure. Now we get Helix. Comet's at 4. Helix the Sage. And then attack Comet with 2 5/5s. Be low on cards here. But we can take over from there. We're gonna Necromancy Sundering Titan. So let's Overlord Liliana. Forest, Mountain, Plains, Swamp Island. Lorna the Third Path on Necromancy, or Overlord, or the Titan itself. It's going to blow up more of our lands. But also one more of their planes. They got 1 card left in hand. Deal with 1,000,000 5/5s. We do have Liliana mana still, which is huge. Ooh. Reanimate? Reanimate Thunder Titan and literally only blow up our own lands at this point? Sounds like a bad idea. 8 cards left? I do one more Overlord attack? No, Lorne also makes us each draw a card. I feel like I stopped doing things with Overlord. Overlord can still block forever without milling us out. Jump with Lauren. Cool. I'm gonna Liliana their last card out of their hand. It might be a one-mana play.
No more distractions.
Yeah, if it's a one white mana card, plus Liliana's real bad here. Alright, sure, we'll just kill a creature and have the Sage kill Liliana instead of poke us.
Sacrifices must be made.
Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
Whatever. Luck favors the foolish, after all.
They are dead to removal, so Urtai kills them. Destroy creature. Attack 15. I'm not going to pick up Bahamut because he's way too expensive. Okay. Another solid, crazy game there, and we are now 5-2 in the money out of this draft, no matter where things go from here. It's a Library of Alexandria opener on the draw. Yes. Next turn's upkeep. Sure. Stern Scolding. They can counter Phantasmal Image. Verge starts on blue instead of black, so we have to go Talisman. If I play a spell this turn, I could also just Library. Like a greedy man. I'm gonna go Talisman though. Show and Tell. How does Show and Tell work with Phantasmal Image? Must copy a creature already on the battlefield. If both cards put in place simultaneously, the image cannot copy the creature put out alongside it. Shoot. So I would have had to have Entomb up and then like Show and Tell Necromancy here. Okay. I could put a land out, actually. That might be better than Planisphere. Atali. Atali's good against our deck because we're also a cheat things into play deck. It just hits a Talisman, though. Suplex our Talisman? Yeah, hitting the suplex is brutal, though. Well, I mean, we can do our own brutal things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Greedy man. Boop, 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 boop. I don't know why I have Rocket Man stuck in my head. I don't know what's going on with my life. Phantasmal Image, Atali, and Tomb in their end step, Necromancy next turn. Could have a sneak attack on our board and no red mana, or I could play a death with nothing in my grave. Well. Okay. We have officially dodged the Stern Scolding. Okay. Not bad for our opponent. Blue, black, red. One-sided Sundering Titan here. Sounds best. And it's perfect stat line against Atali, 7-10 against a 7-7. And if they kill it, I kill their last remaining lands. I could reanimate Image and kill their last remaining lands, or I could reanimate Image on Atali. Either's really good for me. I think I'm going to hit Atali here, since Sundering Titan kills other lands when it dies too. I guess. That was pretty bad hits. Counterspell and removal spell. I get some energy though. I'm feeling energized. I should have played Planisphere before I did that. Well, I guess it would have depended what Atali hit. Atali could have hit something that would make me want to play differently. So I guess it's fine. Mountain Cycling and Oliphant. Sundering Titan is so evil. It just feels like this ticking time bomb now. Like, it does so much the first time it hits, and then it's like, if it ever leaves for any reason, all your lands are gone again. Yeah, there's the concession from our opponent. That is 6-2. We've made it all the way to the final battle with this deck, which is better than expected. It has some solid reanimation and tinker nonsense, some solid big stuff to try to cheat out in various ways. But there's a couple flaws to this deck. The one major flaw is it doesn't have a bunch of cheap interaction, like good 1, 2, and 3 mana removal spells. It has just a little bit with like Memory Lapse and Collective Brutality and Liliana. Not really as much as you would want. Then the other flaw is, since it's doing Reanimator things and Tinker things, both halves of the deck are like a little bit less well represented than we would want them to be, a little bit less consistent than we'd want them to be, but it's been doing very, very well so far. We've even won some games just playing weird mid-rangey stuff. Library of Alexandria, absolute MVP. I don't even know how much it actually has attributed to these wins, but we've drawn a lot of cards off of it over the games, which means I'm happy with it. We have made it all the way to the final boss here. Here we are now 6-2, heading into the final game of Magic for today. Whether we win or lose, let's see what we start with. We start with no reanimation and no tinker, but a memory lapse against our opponent's early play and a talisman to ramp up into an early Crabomination. We can Crabomination on turn 4, sacrificing a talisman. So it is going to be a keep with both of our colors and a little bit of ramp. No! Why do you betray me? Everybody betray me. Our opponent on turn 1 talisman on the draw, and I'm full jealous. If they're a control deck here, we're going to get destroyed because our hand is slow enough. We're not going to do any of our big plays until they'll already have had plenty of time to draw 3 or 4 cards off library and just make sure they've got a counterspell up every turn. Just any 1-for-1 interaction, really. So really hoping this is not a matchup against control. They discarded a mana tithe, so it is looking that way. One, two, three, four. Carbomination, sack talisman against one and a blue. Oh, wait, no, I need 5 mana total. I have to wait till turn 4. Not mana 4. Just Entomb a Bahamut here. Make sure we don't draw our most expensive card in the entire deck. It's also the reanimation target that we can't tinker out. Bahamut is just like easily the best Entomb target. Memory lapse here seems fine, actually, because I'm just going to tap out on Carbomination next turn, and I can just see myself tapping out every turn from here on out. But that's a lot of tempo to memory lapse a mana rock. There's a Field of the Dead. Okay. So their shields are down. We're guaranteed to Carbomination. They won't be able to play that mana rock. That'll be the worst case scenario. Carbomination just hits a mana rock, which will still be good with Sundering Titan in hand. And them being a Field of the Dead deck, Sundering Titan will eventually probably have a lot of targets. Technically, again, should have done this during my turn, but, you know. I will never learn how to use fetch lands right. I'm too used to Evolving Wilds Terramorphic. Golos? Did I hit their Golos? They're a Golos field deck and I hit their Golos. That's so mean. I need to draw the duel over the library, sadly. I have 2 cards in hand. We're not getting an active library. I can't believe they drafted Golos field and then we ripped Golos from them. The 1 out of 7 as well. Evil. Cruel and unusual RNG. Esper Sentinel. Nettle Cyst. Some artifact stuff going on. Cool. I do love me some artifacts. I also love me... reanimation spells when they let me cast them. They didn't even want to see reanimate on Bahamut. I'm going to assume that that concession was just leftover salt for me ripping Golos. That was so stupid. But yeah, this turn we now get to do death on Bahamut, kill the Nettle Sister, the Esper Sentinel, just jam. We're in an incredible spot here. Really ended up with a solid matchup here in the end, them just being like 5-color Field of the Dead, bunch of good stuff instead of being something control-y. If they were something control-y with that turn 1 library, I think we would have gotten crushed. If they just went library into a bunch of islands and just had like counterspell and memory lapse up, we weren't doing anything that game. So pretty good luck with the matchups that we ended up with today. Not playing into anything super, super control-y, super interactive, meant that every explosive hand that we got, every explosive play that we got to do some good work for us outside of a couple games. And we get a 7-2 run. It might not be a 7-0 undefeated perfect run, but it might be even better because it means we got to play even more Magic. We got to play all 9 games and leave with the maximum prize out. Very fun stuff today, and happy that I got 2 of my favorite decks out of my system within the very first draft. We played a Reanimator deck, and we played a Tinker deck all in one. This is not getting the full artifact stuff out of my system, because I usually like my Tinker decks to be even more focused on artifacts than this. Like, a lot more focused on artifacts than this, where we get to play cards like Tezzeret that's tutoring out artifacts and getting extra loyalty, and Tolarian Academy tapping for a bunch of mana equal to all your artifacts. This deck was really not doing that. Tinker was entirely just kind of like another Reanimator piece of just specifically get some big idiot, like the big idiots we're reanimating. But I think the Reanimator half of the deck, having Reanimate and Death and Necromancy, having Entomb, and some good targets, Liliana, Collective Brutality to discard them, the Reanimator half of the deck really did shine here. This was close to like all-in Reanimator. just with a little tinker spice on the side that was good enough to get the full trophy run in our first trip, our first return trip to the Powered Cube. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more of these videos in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.